All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Overshot, a paintball podcast. Before I introduce you guys to the guest we have on this show, I, of course, got to tell you about Zana Sports. It's the holiday season, man. You can be buying gifts for all your paintball buddies. And, if you're a girl who's actually listening to this and you're trying to buy something for that man in your life, head on over to Zana Sports. They got hoodies, they got all kinds of stuff because you know what? If your guy plays ball, he's probably just buying whatever he wants. So you don't know what he wants, but that's okay because you can always buy him a t-shirt or a hoodie or a beanie or socks or something like that. So head on over to diezanasports.com. And when you shop there, use code Overshot when you check out. You'll get 10% off your order. So keep that. Like I said, it's the holiday season. The buy-in is good. So get on over there and go get laced up and get your man's laced up. And our second sponsor for this episode is going to be Volcano. They make the sweet new bags. I got it down here filled with all my gear, waiting to get out and play, hopefully, if I don't have work. And they're just great. They're not like super huge, but like I was talking to somebody about it, they're not small, man. I fit all my stuff in there. I fit multiple loaders, multiple tanks, multiple guns, all my stuff. It's the perfect size. So go over to Volcano USA when you go shop there. And if you use code Overshot10 when you check out, you'll get 10% off your order. Another thing I want to push real quick too is our Patreon. We have a Patreon. I'm going to do it down below for you guys right now. It's down there on the bottom of the screen. So if you go to patreon.com/overshot a paintball podcast, you can go help us out. Anything helps. Of course, at certain tiers, you can get discount off our merchandise and all kinds of other stuff. So go down there. And like I said, every dollar helps to try and help promote this brand and help promote this podcast. But the other thing I'm finally excited to announce that Waldo talked me into is we're going to be doing a giveaway. This is one of the things where if you are mainly a podcast listener and you don't check us out on YouTube, I definitely encourage you to go to our YouTube and subscribe because we're going to be giving away a DM14, this purple, nice blue and purple lightning, whatever you want to call this color. We're going to be giving this away at 500. We're already halfway there, so it's not that bad. Be a friend, tell a friend. Hey, if you're listening to this and you like us, you're like, hey, these guys are doing good talking, find a friend and be like, hey, listen to these guys and do some talking because we're going to do some good talking and you should listen. Mm-hmm. So be a friend, tell a friend. Go to the YouTube, subscribe. I'll show that off again later. But now that I'm done flapping my gums, I can't wait to talk to James Butts. Welcome back. He's already been on an episode.
Hey, Travis.
Dude, thank you for joining us. If you want to know more about James, I encourage you to go back to listen to episode 10, and you can learn like more about James and back in his past because we're going to be focusing pretty heavily on the C.F.O.A. that just happened, where him and his team took first place, dude. So, yeah, before we get too started, bro, like, how have you been, dude? What's going on?
Man, excellent. And hey, Waldo, I know I said hey to Travis earlier. I hope you guys are both doing well. But it's just been a great I just won the 10-man classic in Greensboro at Paintball Central. We'll talk more about that. So that's fun. That's the instant answer. Just came off that yesterday. But before that, Thanksgiving was wonderful. I live in Alabama and I got a strong family over here. So we all got together as best as we could. We've all been pretty conscious of trying to be as safe as possible with COVID. So a few family members didn't show up because of that. And then the rest of us, luckily also in Alabama, it's kind of warm here year round. So we had really great weather outside for sitting together. Yeah. And keeping some distance and watching the kids run around the yard. And then lastly, just my wife and my daughter and just my family now is just really wonderful. They're all doing great and just sticking busy with them. And, it's still pretty easy. My baby isn't even crawling yet, but she's about to be.
Oh, she's about to be a handful then. She's about to be a handful.
That's correct. Seriously.
Cool. So like I said, I always wanted to catch up on your family because I know you're a big family man. But you going into this event, you're the big dogs on top. But before we really get started to like a breakdown of your games, who was on your team? And tell us about some of the awesome dudes you got to play with before we get started with the games.
I can do this off the top of my head, but I'm going to pull it up just in case I accidentally leave anybody out. But my team was called the Scrappy Dogs, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the captain of the team is my really good friend, Flip Wilson. They play all sorts of paintball. When I say they, I mean Flip and like all of his friends, and he's got this huge community. I don't want to mess up his story, and he would be a really cool guy for you guys to interview because he's very now and for the has been becoming a very integrated, key like type of person in the paintball community in the North Carolina area. So he's got a lot to talk about for sure. But he put together the Scrappy Dogs. He was kind enough. He said, "Hey, I'll cover the entry. I want everyone to come play." From North Carolina, we all do things, by the book. You pay for everything. So we all just split it as we go. So it was really nice of him to extend that olive branch and just say, "Hey, all the guys, let's get the band together and let's play this event." And it was just really, really wonderful of a time. It was actually my first place finish, and a lot of people, when I tell them that, they kind of think, or they're at least shocked, because I guess, and people don't really, if you know who I am, like, because we're friends, then you're probably like, "Dang, dude, you played pro, you've never won a paintball tournament before?" And yeah, I haven't. I've gotten like a crap ton of seconds, a bunch of top 4 finishes, right there, but 16 years later after starting, I finally got a 10-man win. So I'm
You got that
counting it.
monkey off your back.
Dude,
And
we
I'm
should
real
have had it
proud of it.
first.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should have had it first.
Oh yeah, I know.
First.
Seriously. Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
have had it first, dude. All I'm saying.
Yeah, we were a good team at Iron City Classic for sure, man. But I kind of forgot the main question. I know a lot of us freaking ridiculous paintball players do that, and we're not that good at these interviews either. But I hope I answered that. Let's keep talking, but it was fun.
Yeah. No, it's good to get the monkey. But who were some of the dudes besides Sleeper that you played with on your team for
Look
our
at me.
listeners?
I forgot every single one of them, dude. Well, except for Flip. He's
Yeah.
the main man. So look, Facebook Messenger right here.
He's important.
See group members. I got this now. I know my teammates, I swear. But nah, for real. So Flip is the main guy, and I kind of explained who he is. Matt Sauceman. A lot of paintball players know him. He played for Vicious, and a lot of paintball players really loved Vicious. Like, they had a crowd following like no one's business. Matt Sauceman still works in the industry. I believe he's a rep for the GI team.
Mhm.
And I think it's a relatively new position for him, but he's kind of like born for it. He's been playing paintball his whole life. He's really well in the community. He's friendly, so he knows a lot of people. So that's Matt Sauceman. Tommy Houston is a childhood friend of mine. We grew up playing with spiders in the woods, and throughout my course of going through divisional, he played like 1 or 2 national events in D3, but always played with me like at the summer, weekend and Wednesday sessions. So the dude can ball, and he was playing on the team. Cameron Handyside, also a childhood friend. He currently plays with Carolina Crisis. They do NXL divisional. Next is Mark Henley, also a Carolina Crisis guy. He played on Baltimore Trauma back in the day as well. He's super, super good, and I kid you not, he can shoot his EMEC with a Hair 45 valve, like consistent 16 BPS. Like, it's insane how he just rips that thing, like, for real.
Dude, the hair valves are next level. The hair valves I got one on mine. It's fucking,
yeah, me too.
It's nice.
It is, I mean, not necessary, but to me it is. Like, even for the single shot, it makes it so easy. And, even if it's cold, your finger's not cramping up or anything, like a little baby boy would say, like me. But
Competitive advantage.
I love it, man. Yeah, it is good, dude. So Mark's also on Crisis. So a lot of these guys are going to be from North Carolina area. Brian Besterman, one of my best friends. I was one of his groomsmen. He currently plays on Professional Energy Elite. You got to be pretty ballin' to make it up to the tippy top. My brother, I could talk forever about him, but he's my brother, 2.5 years younger than me, really good at paintball. People say we have the same voice. We play different though, and we play good together. So I don't get to play with him that much. So that alone made this tournament for me. And then to kind of get this quick, because we had a freaking stupid big roster. We had like 14 or 15. Travis Moser, really great friend, also from North Carolina. Hunter Murray, really great friend, also from North Carolina. These are Charlotte Bloodhounds type of guys. They don't play divisional anymore, but we used to. That's kind of the last claim to fame for us, but we still play. Eddie Dawes currently plays with Crisis. Really, really great paintball player. Kyle Bowen, he got injured, couldn't make it. Austin Nave, he's actually on paper the least experienced out of us all. He's a veteran. He was in the military. I think he plays for veteran militia here and there. He's part of that group.
Right.
The dude balled at this event. I gave him tournament MVP, and his name's Austin Nave, again, for the people who want to know who to look out for next time. He's the dude that was crushing it. Tall T plays for Crisis. His real name's Jake Summers, but growing up, he only wear tall tees to play paintball and in real life. So that's why his nickname's that. Ryan Callahan, one of my greatest friends. He's a really great glass blower. He played paintball with me growing up forever. We played D1 together, but now he's living the life of a really talented glass blower, and he's wonderful at that. Zach Baker currently plays on Crisis. He just invested in running his own field now. So best of luck to anybody that's brave enough in helping our community by doing a field like that. So really excited for him. Drew Warsh is the last guy on the roster, and he's a really good friend of mine. He's from North Carolina and played on the Bloodhound. So I think we just went through a bunch, and you guys see why I had to have the list there, because there was a lot of us, but everyone contributed to this team and to this winning roster. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I had the list pulled up too in case you missed anybody. So don't worry, I got your back, Jack. But
You're the man. Thanks.
But before we get into like the game breakdown, like it was 3 different fields. So what was your kind of first impressions of all 3 of the fields kind of before you even started playing them?
Well, my first impression was that this is the field that I grew up at. So I knew the woods, I
Mhm.
knew the hyperball field, and I knew the mounds. But I haven't played paintball in general, like really in like 3-ish years,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit longer. So there had been renovations done to the mounds, to the pipes, and to the woods. So my first impressions were, I'm comfortable. I know this all, but you know, it was totally different, and just the measurements of the outside lines were the same, but it was
Right.
really, really cool. I loved the woods field. They built a pipes field in the woods, so it's like on this beautiful piece of land. Like one side of the field, what we call the Doritos, is slightly uphill, but it's not like a gross hill and not really unfair. The
Yeah.
hill's long enough, so I mean it's hard to get that height angle, super big advantage, and the fact that there's literally a pipes field built into the woods, it's kind of like, I don't want to like make your mind run, but you know, if you can think about it, it's like pretty epic in your brain. Like that's pretty much what it is. And
Yeah.
you walk up and like they have a built-in spectator netting box. Like it's a hallway that walks to this box, like pretty much at the 50. So they require spectators to still wear masks through the netting, but I mean, there's not a lot of woods fields either that you can have spectators or your family come watch if you have enough spare masks for them, or the rentals or whatever. So I just thought that it was a really beautiful setup. Paintball Central is just a really good looking field. I mean, you're standing at the main sign-in station, and to your 12 o'clock, you can see the pipes field. To your 3 o'clock, you can see the entrance to the woods field. Obviously, you can't see through the trees. And then, you know, to your 9 o'clock, to your left a little bit, you see the mounds field like a walkway in the distance. So everyone was just stage, and all the fields are convenient. No one's having to walk half miles back and forth lugging paint. So it was just a really good venue. And out of the 3, typically, I mean, I'm all team pipes or mounds. I like those. Everyone's usually pipes first, but I was really impressed with the woods because it had pipes in it. And then you just have also the factors of woods, roots, and mud puddles, which it was very muddy in there. But it was a lot of fun, man. They did great.
Yeah, I was going to say too. So like how were the fields as far as the fact, because I know like
Mhm.
it rained that day up here in New York. So
Yeah.
the day before, like probably Friday or Thursday, definitely had to rain down there. So how were the fields on Saturday? Were they really wet? Was it not so bad?
So the sun actually came out, so we were keeping our eye on it too, and it was supposed to be raining into the morning that Saturday, but it actually kind of came through a little early the evening before on Friday. So it was raining Friday night like at 11 o'clock, but the weather said it should stop like at 1 a.m., and sure enough, it did. So there was lots of rain here prior as well, but I'm also from Alabama now, and it was really sunny and dry there, so I kind of forgot the weather
Yeah.
factor, and it was just really, really wet and not slippery, but on like parts of the mounds, I guess there was just these really big puddles. So I tried to avoid those or not dive into those, you
Right.
know, if I didn't have to. And luckily, they weren't right up in the spots you needed to go. So that was very livable. I mean, I literally walked out of the mounds and like my hands weren't muddy, and it was very good.
Yeah.
And especially for all the rain it took. I mean, if you live, or if it was more of a surface where it was like red clay or like something that would turn straight to mud, like no one was running over the mounds, I think because of the wetness. There is a little shrubbery on them too, but I mean, everything else was fine. I even thought it was going to be like, you know how it gets at tournaments where like so many breakouts happen in a row and a row and a row, and then all of a sudden like the first 10 feet are like ridiculous to get out of. It
I
was
thought
like,
that's what you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna be, and all the main spots were sinkholes, so they're all
no,
fucking
no.
giant puddles right in front of the bunkers.
We played about like an hour and a half in, so I think we were the sixth game of the day, and I mean, you could clearly see like a little track,
Mhm.
here and there on the popular paths of going to your bunkers off the break, but it wasn't bad. You definitely didn't want to go in like flat sneakers or anything, though. You definitely needed a little soccer cleat or lacrosse cleat or football cleat. I was wearing like these indoor soccer shoes, and they have like these little like bubble rubber grippies on the bottom, and that worked okay. But the first break I was supposed to go to like snake one, and as soon as I took off, like my friend behind me, Tommy, he was just like, go faster, man. I was like, dude, dang, man, like I don't play paintball anymore, I guess. Like I thought I was gonna be like boom, like
Yeah.
and it was just like, and he's
You
like,
don't
go
got that
faster.
burst speed like you used to.
Well, I felt a little better because I had it more so on the pipes field because what we called it all the time growing up is it's on kitty litter, and some fields have that, but I just haven't played on many where they do. Um, all of the fields growing up were on the kitty litter, so the speed ball, everything. Eventually, they got turf, and that was really cool. But the pipes field was perfect, no puddles at all. They have that bad boy like leveled out to a T, like really good maintenance. Flip is also the guy I was telling you about that put this team together and is my friend. He's also like the maintenance manager or maintenance supervisor for all of the Paintball Central locations. They all do work, but Flip is like their workhorse that gets it done and is all over their multiple locations. So hats off to him and Paintball Central, the whole entire team. It fought that rain good, and it was doable, that tournament. It was not one where, and if people left being like, man, the weather is why we lost, I mean, they're the only ones saying that. It was beautiful blue skies, sunny. It was just leftover puddles, and it wasn't even freezing. I like came from Alabama, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be like a baby and be like super cold. And it felt so good. It was like 50 degrees, 45 degrees, and it was wonderful. It was a great.
Yeah, the weather is never it's like never an excuse.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a factor, but it's not an excuse, but it's like whatever weather you're playing in, your enemy's playing in too. So fucking buck up, Buttercup.
I know, yeah. It's just who like handles it more, and I mean, usually you can see that from a mile away too. Like I'm sure like listeners now, like even if you're like just getting started in paintball, like if it's like one of your first seasons or something, and like it's super rainy, and if like all the guys are like hiding underneath a tent or like not wanting to like stretch or warm up or it throws a
Yeah.
lot of people off, and it is one of the factors that can easily get into people's heads. Luckily it wasn't really much of a factor at all because I mean you really would have to be a negative Nancy when the sun's beautiful and there's no clouds in the sky and it's like, oh, there's a puddle right there, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like today's beautiful, so it was a really awesome day. And just even with the COVID delay, because this bad boy was supposed to start a while ago, and then COVID really jumped in the way. I don't have the dates and the delays and the time frame of it, but it got delayed a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was saying to myself the whole time, I was like, it's gonna be beautiful weather. Like it's definitely gonna be good. And it was really good. It was just luck. I didn't really call it, but I thought I did.
No, it definitely worked out. All right, cool. So now we're gonna get into the game breakdown. I guess kind of what we're gonna get to. So your first game was against
All right.
Yeah, so I got them all right here. Don't worry about it. So the first game, I mean, and they're all pretty good. So don't worry. You're gonna have a lot of good things to say. But
I
your
was
first game,
I was not scared in any of them, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at the scores. I mean, you have a lot of high numbers. Your other team's got a lot of low numbers. So these are going to be good talks. But
Yeah, no worries.
your first game was against Cobra Kai, and it doesn't really tell me on what field it was. It just says the name. So your first
Okay,
game was
yeah.
against Cobra Kai. So how'd that go?
And that was on the mounds. And
Okay.
if you need any other fill in, I got it for sure. That was a really good game. They seemed like really great guys.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends who played on the team, like that, we were the same age and grew up together. He's like, man, and you guys are gonna kill us. And like, there was three of us on our team. We're like, dude, what? That's like the wrong mentality to have. Like, no, we're not gonna kill you. Like, we could get a major, or like we could get two majors, and then all of a sudden it's a 9-on-3 or something like that. Like, we could get shot off the. Yeah, we just tried to tell him like, dude, like literally, don't do that, man. Like, make it fun for you and for us. Like, if you're already thinking you might get booty smacked, like go ahead and try and
You
do a
already
breakout.
did. I mean,
Yeah,
you kind of already did.
you might as well throw it to the wind and just be like, well, if I'm already dead, like I'm gonna try and go 50 off the break. And dude, that guy alone might chop up 4, you know? So there's never an excuse for doing that. And he's a really good friend of mine, so I'm not trying to give him a tough time, but always gotta just freaking do it, man. I mean, it's paintball. It's gonna break and it's not gonna go through you. So why not just have some fun, you know?
Dude, right? Anything can happen. They got 10 dudes, you got 10 dudes. Balls, like, you miss
And
dudes, balls bounce, bro. Like,
and Paintball Central gave teams like Cobra Kai, like these D5, like straight D5 teams playing against like players like Matt Sossman who won
yeah.
an event first place in pro with Vicious, you know, like so they're hats off to them. And I mean, they freaking came, and after the game, dude, it was not a super smashing. It took some time, and they held their own. So I hope they, you know, did whatever they needed to get hype, but it was definitely not a absolute smashing. But we did confidently beat them with good communication. Off the break, we had a game plan to try and push someone into the snake, me, aka Slow. So I made it, but it was just terrible. I definitely got shot in the head off the break. By the time the ref came, I was like already feeling it, but the rule is just don't call yourself out because, you know. So I'm feeling it, and I see paint there, but no shell. So I'm like, dang, and I feel it again. And then the ref finally comes up to me, and he's like, I don't see any shell, player. Like, keep playing on. And I was like, so then I just kept playing on.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I crawled down the snake and shot the snake in front of me, and then I was trying to get into their snake one because I was in their snake too, trying to migrate down. And there was I should have known it's 10 man. There was a sneaky second person there, but we chopped up like 3 people on that side, including the third was the guy I just shot in the face. He popped over the mound, and so I was like, ooh, boom, green light, like 3 people on a side. It just got knocked. Like, let's try and get to their one and wrap and hold them from getting wide again. And by the time I like got on my crawl, like another dude popped the top, and I was like, yep. And you know, I got a little tagged up there, but at least I shot someone. But that
It's
was the
10 men.
first.
There's always one more dude. There's always one more
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. The
Dude, you
team
gotta watch
cleaned it
the
up.
movie Landmine, dude.
Man, dude, they freaking got me that day. That's for sure. And I hope he had fun. I hope, you know, like put yourself like maybe that was a kid. I don't know if it was a grown man or a kid or D5 or whatever. So what if they lost that point? In their head, they might think I'm really good, although I'm not anymore. But they might be like, dude, I shot this really good dude. And I hope they like had an epic time, you know, like win or lose. So that's why you always just gotta go for it, man. You just can prove so much to yourself or have fun at the minimum, you know. So that opportunity is always out there. I was really proud to play Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
We were ready to beat them, but that was my most humbling thing at the tournament actually because it's my home field. You know, the whole weekend there was kids like freaking like young kids like running drills on the X ball field or like trying to like improve. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Like even like 7 years ago when I was here, that wasn't happening. So it's cool to see the evolution. So they're doing a great job of that field. But hats off to Cobra Kai on that game. And that's pretty much the story on that one. But we did hand it to him.
Yeah. But no, that's how you get better though, is playing better teams. So like if you're a
Oh yeah.
D5 team, I mean, it sucks that they were kind of like a little scared a little bit, but I mean,
But we've all been there too, you know, like whether you
yeah.
say it or not, everyone's been there too.
I'm gonna say I never say it, but I've been, yeah. I mean, I've touched the box against Dynasty, and I'm like, oh, okay, here, time to pull up the skirt, man. Let's go.
Yeah, for real. I mean, my trick, when I've been in those situations just like that, Travis, is just like I just trick myself, and I'm like, that's not nerves you're feeling, dude. Like you're just excited, you know, and
Yeah,
and then try not to overexcite because then that's dangerous too. But that's how I do my spin move when the tackle comes with the nerves. I'm just like, brain, it's just you're happy, it's just excited. Don't be nervous. So.
right, dude. Exactly.
Mhm.
But so your guys' next game is the Psychedelic Warriors again on the Mounds field.
Oh yeah.
Again, that had to be a pretty nice game from you looking at the score. So I mean, again, walk us through. Like again, did you take Heat going into the snake again this time?
So I had decided not to do snake this time. I played more of like the 3 going out to a side. So I was playing more close to the back center, like make sure I'm shooting a lane with my sweet hair valve, and then
Yeah.
out there. And just in general, we just kind of refined the game plan, not much. So we still pushed the snake one because it honestly was a pretty easy run. And in 10 man, you'll die if you play like super conservative. Like that's not a good move. So that was pretty much the same. And because we won all of our games, all 12, and I mean, there's going to be a reoccurring theme here. So, and it's just the winning serum. And I've never been a winner, but I've been a very big studier of how to be good at the game. So, like, there's so many variables to why you can lose, but this one, just everything, I didn't jinx it, but I could look at it from afar and say, as long as we do our thing, I expect us to win for sure. But it's easier said than done, but luckily there's like a bunch of decade
Right.
veterans on this thing. But yeah, we just communicated really good. We shot lanes off the break. I don't think we were really ripping people up off the break. A lot of these were like bodies alive, and the game is just mainly don't get antsy in that first minute. Don't do I'm not sure if you guys play video games or not or have ever heard of it, but a lot of people know it. So I was telling my pal, I was just like, yo, Tommy, like as long as we don't have any Leroy James
Yeah.
moments like where you're just so hyped, you're like, dude, I can get like a 3-pack right here, and it's like 45 seconds into the game. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't need to do that. So we didn't do any of that. We found the bodies. If we dropped a body, we were using the code word like ball. So if it was ball one, everyone knew ball one.
Right.
We were doing really good protection of our front guys. I don't know if you guys play front at all, but it's really annoying when you get in the snake and you're trying to like cook both ways and you don't have a teammate, although there's a teammate, but they're just not playing to protect you. They're just like, whatever it is, tunnel vision elsewhere. They tell you
Right.
they have more important fish to fry, whatever. But like when people go in these spots, you have to have backup to like feel good as a front player and do the job. So we just did the job, dude. I was telling all my guys all day long, it's just like, look, when you play with other people, they'll tell you they got your back. Like, I will have your back. Like, like I might not be in a gunfight where it's like in this exchange, I have to like come in and out of the snap and on the third spot in a different lower section. Like, I gotta hit this because if I don't hit this, this is where the game falls apart. Like, I was treating it that way for being in like the secondary position. It's like if I can't see it, dude, I'm getting somewhere where I can see it so that way I can hold my word and protect him on his offside. I'm not
Right.
worried about him getting bunked on his front side because he's got a gun, he's got a barrel, and a good player's always got their trigger finger ready and a barrel where it needs to be. So with him, all that player needs to also do is not worry about his other stuff unless he wants to. So that's why a lot of players don't really, I feel like they get a little selfish or just want to see like the action on their barrel, but it's just like, dude,
Right.
look, I know it might be boring, but like I'm gonna sit here and like clip off 3 pods, making sure that whoever's looking at the other side of his bunker thinking about bunkering you, they're gonna see your barrel shooting consistent paint out this side, and then they're gonna see my paint consistently coming that way. So it's pretty much being like, dude, you can come through, but either way, you're not gonna live. At the best, you're maybe gonna get the trade. But
Right.
we just pretty much had our front dudes' backs down the second point in the mounds, and we just cleaned it up pretty good, and we won that one with the flag hang with, I think, some decent time. The mounds we really enjoyed a whole lot. I did too. It was a good field.
Yeah. No, and yeah, and back to what you're saying is like you get the same amount of points whether you end the game in 9 minutes or 5. There's
Mhm.
no reason to kind of force it. Like said, wait and just see what happens. Like play on other people's mistakes. Like let them lose a snap battle. So instead of that dude going across when there's 5 dudes alive, well now there's 4, and now he's probably gonna live because if he kills 2, I mean there's only a couple guys left.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, sometimes, all you have is a gap this big to prevent the dude from coming to get your 50 guy as the like his secondary guy. And if you like for 5 seconds come off that gap and shoot over here for a while because you're just like tired of doing the same thing, that dude can run through. And now the best you can do is shoot for when he runs through and gets your guy, and you'll eliminate him afterwards. But if you just
Too
stayed on
late.
that gap, yeah, you're in it. And in 10 man, it's just, I mean, I think it's harder in 5 man, like the lower you go in communication, because then there's more communication pressure on less people's shoulders. So if you have 10 people, you can have 3 people that suck at communicating and then have 4 people that are really good at communicating.
Just
And
control the
then those
game.
4
Yeah.
people trickle down all the way to the 3 that really stink, where they're getting the information they need. And hey, they might even talk a little bit when they don't usually do. But if you're in a 3-man and no one's a good communicator, it's tough. So it can be tough in any respect, but we did a really good job of, there was lots of, what'd you say? Like, where'd that kill come from for sure? Just verifying things. But when you have 10 people to verify, you can bounce it off this dude, you can bounce it off that dude, and then you really know, and play confident. So we were really excited about winning the 2 Mounds games, because also you kind of walk away from a terrain like that being like, woohoo, went 2-0 on kind of a very wet, not muddy like we discussed, but a very wet Mounds field. It's like weather could have been a factor for any team in here, and glad to get through those. So very happy about that.
Yeah, like I said, it's a factor, but you didn't make an excuse. You
Mhm.
powered through.
Yeah.
You got pretty much the max. I mean, I think whatever the other team got 10 and 13. I think you got 94 and 95. So I mean, pretty good
Gotcha.
scores going in.
Gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now you get to go into the pipes, man. I mean, my favorite. I know you like
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
So your
I
first game
love
of
it, man.
pipes was the bush hog. So how'd that break down for you?
Mhm. Have a couple friends on the Bush Hog, so was really interested in playing them. Also knowing that they're looking at us and being like, we really want to beat them. Like, wouldn't this be sick if we beat them? So as long as you're aware of kind of like times in my life, it was like I don't care who I'm playing, but other times in my life, it's like understanding the dynamic can help as well. Um, and we'll talk about that with like another game here. There was one in particular that I was thinking about, but
Hmm.
these guys, a couple of friends, and they play a lot of team paintball together. They play a lot of woods paintball together. They play a lot of every weekend paintball together. So formidable match for sure. Um, but again, it's just, hey, let's have guns up. Let's take some real estate. Let's protect our front guys so they can one at a time chisel down the field. Who cares about killing it in 6 minutes? Like all we care about is hanging the flag with 5 seconds left.
You're being
Um,
very nice. The score was 2-99. I mean, you waxed the shit out of them.
Yeah, but every game, I mean, that's just our mentality. And I really think, and I'm not the best. Obviously, this is my first one, but I'm not, from what I can see, because I'm not the best winner. I don't have that much experience, but it's like nothing too crazy. It's just doing the same things all the way through, like communicating all the way through, like having that 50 dudes back or playing his offside all the way through, like.
Mhm.
So we just tried to bring our best heat on the pipes game, and just being naturally excited. Like I knew we were gonna do work on the pipes field because a lot of speedballers is the majority of our team, and pipes is the closest thing to speedball. So um, we just strategically put our talkers in the back, which we had all day long, and that helped those guys on the field who might not be the best talkers, but they can
Right.
operate like in a half second when they find out information or when they figure out which way a gun's looking. So, dude, we just freaking talked, protected, and yeah, I guess you're right. It was just more about win loss to me.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess we beat them up pretty good. It sounds like. Sorry, boys.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm looking at the scores. So he had 2-99. So you were
Yeah,
being very nice. That was
cool.
that was quite the lopsided score. But this next one is actually I am super interested to talk to you about because there's another game on Hyperball, but it was a game against Carolina Collective, which you guys did win, but it was very close. The score is 18-12.
Yeah.
So not everything went right for you that game. So definitely talk to us about that.
And the Carolina Collective, if you're watching, I know I was just shaking my head like crazy. You'll understand,
Mhm.
but hats off to you guys. That was the best game, or one of the best games. Finals was pretty tight, so I might not give you that, but it was it was our best prelim game for sure. And
Yeah,
we happened to notice at the end of the day that they didn't really do the best. So, I mean, what the heck? I mean, it's one of those situations where you're having a washout tournament, but then when I guess the future winner of the tournament comes on your prelim, like you ball out, dude. And
yeah.
so I don't
You're
know
like,
what
fuck
their
them. I want to
strategy.
ruin their day, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so important not to take it lightly, dude, because they came to play for sure.
Hmm.
And I don't know what they're trying to do, but dude, like we freaking stalemated them. We had 5 people alive. They had like the back line and something else sprinkled in. I'm pretty sure it was like kill 6 or G6 or whatever you want to call it, but 6 of them eliminated. And I think, and I could be wrong, but long story short, we had numbers, we had stopwatches, we had
Yeah.
time, um, and we were in their 50s. And it was just as easy. It was our one brain fart of the tournament. It was just, and this is the one time we didn't do what you time and time what we did over and over again. We didn't look at the clocks. We didn't say, "Hey boys, like what the heck? All we need is one person to hang this flag. We've got more than them. Like let's just go get them like all day."
Right.
So we just didn't capitalize on that one. So they snuck out with the stalemate. Yes, we won it because of the body counts, but dude, I mean, we all talked about that one going in. Now, I know me in particular. I was like, dude, I'm baffled that we were dumb enough not to close that out. So I just told my friends, I was like, look, whatever, it's still a win. So I guess I'm not going to ride it too hard. And I'm just looking at it as the beautiful reminder and the beautiful part of time during the tournament to be like, hey, dude, see what happens when you do this, where you slightly come off your what you need to do.
Right.
That's what happens. You stalemate the team who's doing the worst in prelims right now. Again, no disrespect. Hats off to you guys. You guys balled out. But
Yeah.
at the end of the night, I was like, what? This is
Yeah.
crazy, dude. And we had time. So it was just really disturbing to me that we stalemated that one. But that's how we ended our day. And so it was kind of also not the most fun way to end the day. Again, we got the win, so I don't want to sound like a butthead or anything, but just knowing that we didn't win it right, we definitely used the word inexcusable a few times. I know I did at least. We didn't have like a team meeting or anything. The whole entire tournament was nonchalant, pretty fun, just only and just
Right.
being like, yeah, boys. After that point, we were like, yeah, we just didn't capitalize, so we didn't do that again. So we turned the screws and just made sure that was not going to happen again. So it didn't.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, like you said yourself, so this was the end of day one. So
Mhm.
going back to the hotel, did you guys like are you the kind of was it the kind of team where you guys went back to the hotel and everyone kind of chilled and went out to dinner? Or did everyone just kind of go back and do their own thing, go to sleep?
So all day long we were drinking energy juice and partying. So everyone was kind of tired, but
Yeah,
we're all kind of local. So I think the furthest someone had to drive was maybe an hour back home. So everyone kind of got the luxury of staying at home, not
that's
really having to
nice.
go out and like spend 3 hours at a restaurant because you're 20 top. It takes
Right.
forever to operate. We all know how that is. So it was very nice. And because I was in town, my mom's in Greensboro. So that's why I played this one. I was really wanting to one play with my friends, play at the home field, but also by night get to be with my family. So they all came into town. So I kind of had the idea. I was like, oh, well, why don't I just invite like my family, my paintball family, like over to my mom's house when my regular family's there, and like we can all just chill and maybe have some drinks and order some pizza. So that's all we did. And really, we were
That's
also
awesome though.
tired. Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It was because I told the guys, I typed them up on Facebook. I was just like, hey, I know we'll be spending all day together Saturday and Sunday playing the tournament, but I don't get to see you guys as much. So whoever would like to, everyone's invited. If you have any friends traveling with you, they're invited to. Just let me know, and I'll order enough pizza for us all, and we'll just chill. Everyone was really tired, so I think we like crashed or everyone left like a little after 9 or 9:30. But it was really perfect just getting to and sit in my mom's house and chill and just get to hang out with my friends and just we were doing good in the tournament. So we just we weren't even really talking paintball too much. It was more so just hanging out and just being tired really, but being together. Um, I really felt like an old man after day one, dude. My feet were like hurting, and I was like, dude, I've never had this before. Like this sucks. And then day two, luckily my feet were rejuvenated. That was the sore part for me Saturday night, but we came back strong for day two.
For yeah, day two, and you had a lot of balls still left to come. So day two starts off. You played Tantrum Black. Funny story too, real quick. I'm talking to Waldo about the tournament or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, bro, Trauma put in some teams, and he's like, Trauma. I was like, yeah. He's like, nah, dude, you need to learn how to read. It's Tantrum. I was like, I do need to
Oh,
learn how to
yeah,
read. That does not say Trauma.
that's hilarious.
Hooked on
And but like,
phonics failed me terribly.
well, last year I think they did put a trauma team in. I could be wrong, but this year I think the guys who wanted to play,
There's like the
again.
South. I saw a T word. I was like, it's
Yeah,
South.
it's similar in the logo design, I guess, too, to pull your eyes that way. Um, but yeah, they were our first game of day two. Do you want me to go into that one at all?
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So funny story with this one, and I don't know any of the tantrum guys. I don't play paintball really anymore, but I follow paintball. So like the only thing I see on Facebook when I get on is like all of y'all's stuff, like 10-man, speedball, COVID, new gear, and that's So I don't really obsess over it quite as much, but I'm very at least like a brands as they come out or everything. So I have a good feel, and more so, I guess, because of being back home and my community's from North Carolina, I get a lot of like feed from the North Carolina. So I've been seeing like Tantrum, and I've been seeing like their name. Now,
Right.
me, gosh, this is gonna make me look like a chotch. I'm not trying to, y'all. I'm not trying to, but me, I really start like just keeping my real paintball eyes on stuff. Like when you start having success in D2 consistently.
Yeah.
So because they're home, that's why I know their name, but I don't know anything about them. So. Oh, but I do know I see pictures of them winning like regional stuff. So my brain
there you
tells me,
go.
okay, they're good enough, like they're good to win. And that's hard to do. Cause like I said, I've never really won one. Like all the divisional stuff I did growing up, like it was competitive, dude. So it was so hard to win. So hats off to them for that. So my friend on the team, Ryan Callahan, we call him like Mad Dog. And we used to be the Bloodhounds, or like we'll call him Mud Dog, or, it's just like our goofy little play on words. They're all real cheesy with like dog things. And so Scrappy Dogs is right there with it. Well, anyways, Ryan Callahan, he is kind of fly by night, like literally he was the only person not chiming in the Facebook Messenger. So I was like, oh man, Callahan's going to be there. And then he just never said a thing for months. And I was like, oh man, Callahan's not going to be there.
Yeah, he's not showing.
Yeah, well, I show up in the morning and Callahan's there. So I'm like, yo, Callahan, like so good to see you, man. Like this and that. This is why I didn't think you're going to be here, but dang, dude, you're here. This is going to be awesome. So anyways, me and him have a really great relationship, really good friend. And we get each other hype all the time. And I know if he's not on Facebook, he has no clue who these tantrum dudes are. And not that he should be worried. We're bringing the same heat to everybody.
Right.
But I tell him, because me and him joke around about the whole like Mud Dog or Bark Bark. Like when we were playing Divisional 1 as Bloodhounds, we'd be like, oh, oh, and like be like they can't they can't keep us on the leash. Like we were just saying dumb stuff, dude. Just having fun. And so we're doing that just again. But we weren't quite at that hype up level. We're like in the morning, day 2, getting ready to put on our gear, and I say, yo, Callahan, I say, hey man, this Tantrum team, dude, like they're the young pups in the area, man, and they're purebred, man. They're not doing too bad, but they're definitely looking at us like the big dogs, and they definitely would love to beat the big dogs. I said, just wanted to break it down for you, like kind of how like their vibe of this match.
Yeah.
And
like they're coming for us, dude.
yeah, like they know that Brian Besterman plays Energy Pro, and he plays every weekend at PBC Greensboro when he's not with Energy Pro, and blah 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 blah. I don't know if they know me or not, but I know what it's like to be, the up and coming and looking at maybe someone who thinks they're better than you, and you're like, dude, we're gonna freaking crush them, and that's how they should come into it. But luckily, the way we should come into it is my Callahan version of the pups and the big dogs, like, don't get caught slipping, So we didn't get caught slipping, and dude, that was one of my favorite prelims because I knew the stakes there, the just at home bragging rights. They're going to be able to be like, yeah, dude, we beat those guys, like we are good. So we didn't let it happen at all, man. And we played really methodical on the woods. We only had one in the woods because our second one's forfeited the tournament, actually. So us and a few other teams got a bye in prelims, but talk about that in a second. But
yeah, I was gonna say, do you know the story behind?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in just a little bit, but
Right.
I briefly know it. Yeah, man, Tantrum, not a bad breakout. I'm pretty sure bodies on bodies off the break, blah blah blah. We smartly got in the snake. Speaking of Callahan, I was like, yo, brother, I got you, man. Like in the center 50, there's like a center 50, like further favoring the left side, not the 50 snake, but there's like a bunker that's like connected, that's right there. And so like me and Callahan were very aware of where they're at, and we were very aware that the next move they were going to have some shots on it, and we just talked it out. And Callahan's a great snake player and made it in clean as day, and just played super smart. And the next thing I know, our Dorito side's pushing really, really, really good. And then we're pushing. We lost Callahan in the snake. He forgot where he got shot from. So it was just a really good shot. But your boy was just like, no worries, dude. Callahan, thanks
Got
for your
you.
time. Yeah. We'll catch up later, and just hopped in the snake. And then my boy Tommy was in my corner because we just had great back play and great communication. And I was checking every knuckle, making sure I wasn't going to miss a freebie shot, which I think is pretty smart because sometimes you'll see people crawl right past stuff, and that might be a game opener too. So there was no shots, and my boy Tommy's just like, keep going if there's nothing. So we went all the way, and all of a sudden we were like all the way up in their 40s, and we bunked the last two guys out, and I think it kind of shocked them. I think they were expecting to hang in there a little bit tighter, but like I said, we weren't playing soft at all. We weren't talking crap. We weren't like beating our chest. And I don't think we were like lining up to shake hands with anybody afterwards. We were like, probably going to grab another drink, just be like, well, that was cool. But it was a good game. Not to make it sound easy, I think that was one of the more competitive ones, but it was one of the most fun ones too, because it was the only game on that pipes field in the woods. And dude, it was tight. Like when I slid into the snake, I went right through this huge puddle. I hope some dude was taking a picture. So, like water and stuff, be like, yeah. But no, we'll see what happens with that. But it was a fun point.
Those pictures are the best, dude. My brother's got a dope one from WTS back, I don't even know how many years ago, but I mean, it was fucking pouring rain. And my brother's diving into the snake, and the water's like 6 feet above his head. Epic.
Yeah. After we ran, like my buddy Drew bunkered out there, the guy ahead of me, like in the snake insert, like as I was like posting up one side, so he couldn't snap out my side, and Drew just slam dunked. I think I shot Drew in the back after he ran through, just because couldn't miss him on accident. I wasn't that good right there. And then my buddy Brian just ran down the other guy and bunked him in the back. And Brian said he was like, "Oh F," like ooh, like he got a little thrown off. It was like, yeah, dude, like we're not gonna give you guys like a chance to like freaking be a decent D3, D4 player and square up with your last few bodies and hold it down and shoot your pods and stalemate us. Like we finished that one quick. So that was a fun one. And the one on the woods, because at one point they're like, man, the woods are so gross, we might just do it all in the pipes field. And we were like, well, we're down with whatever, of course. But
wherever you guys want to lose, it's fine to me.
We went home that night, and it was the whole tournament debating this for all the people playing on the woods the next day. They're like, it's pretty gross out there. It's kind of like a swamp. It wasn't that bad. So I guess they're just being protective. But we wanted to play it because if it's there, I mean, and if it's not pouring rain, I want to play it. I mean, everyone's got to play it, like you guys say. It's just like,
dude, if it's not actively raining, like what the fuck, man?
And dude, I ran and dove into the snake. I mean, it was fun, so. Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad Paintball Central and the C.F.O.A. decided, we're going to keep running. We're going to keep the running it, just the way we thought we were going to do. So that was the only woods field I played, but I'm still probably, because we won on the pipes, that's probably my favorite, because whatever. But the woods really was the icing on the cake for me. That was tight, dude. And Flip built that. My friend Flip, that I'm talking about, he built the pipes field in the woods. He's the man. It was just a woods field before that.
Just a regular woods. So. So yeah, now we're gonna, I guess, get into a little bit because your last game was the Jungle Lizards, which was a forfeiture only, and I saw that because I was checking the scores because I'm on ground zero, so I get all the updates on APP on the app from every game they play. So I'm checking out the scores, and I'm like, wow, like before any games were played, they were forfeited, and I was like, yo, I wonder what the fuck the deal is with that. So you said a little bit, so what do you know?
Yeah.
Give us the goods.
I know those hooligans, and first off, they're really great guys. I hope it didn't, ruin anyone's tournament by the forfeit. But I mean, C.F.O.A. made it even by, like, I guess, giving everyone a forfeit that was going to play under the brackets. I think it leveled out. And the two brackets competed against each other, so I don't think it was like anyone got like technically an easier path because of that match. But maybe less paint bill by a game, but that's it. So they just had a bunch of guys that were going to do it, and they were eyeballing it from a ways away. And then when COVID really started delaying it, they were honestly trying to stick in it and still do it. And then when it came down to it, I think, maybe because of COVID, no one really looked at it when the dates were finally set. I sure didn't. I was just like, hell yeah, I'm booking my ticket. Word. But I didn't realize, Thanksgiving was right before it and Christmas is coming right after it. So I could easily see why for some people, like travel might not be in the position. So they paid their entry a long time ago, blah 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 blah, and then it just ended up being a bunch of the guys couldn't do it, and it was on the fence till the very last second, and then unfortunately they had to notify them like, hey, we couldn't make the Hail Mary catch, sorry. So they weren't trying to mess with anybody or anything like that, and they're a really good team. So if they were there, they're good enough to sign up on time. So, I mean, if they were there, they would have been a fun opponent, a good opponent. There's some really talented paintball players from like the Atlanta area and the surrounding areas. It's a very good community on the Jungle Lizards. They also go by Jungle Cats and a couple of other leagues. And then again, there's a lot from the Atlanta area. So you'd have a plethora of players that grace that team, but they just couldn't make it, unfortunately. So we took the bye. We were like, all right, we'll go grab a beer.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy too, because the hardest part is when they paying the entry, and they took care of that. Getting everyone to pony up with the money.
Yeah, they were like, well, obviously we can't pull it, so we're just looking at it as we're contributing to the prize money.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I was like, well, they didn't like I said, I didn't know anything, so I didn't know. Like, I was like, why didn't they try and find a replacement team? Like, I know teams are looking to bowl out. Like, this mechanical shit is pretty popping. I'm sure if they really reached out, they could have filled the spot. So I was curious to know maybe why they didn't do that.
They easily could have. I think I wasn't in the exact mix, but I would imagine it's because they were trying to, like I said, do a Hail Mary pass to be like, it'd be fun as heck. Like, we can find 10 people, right? We're paintball players. Like, but I think just maybe the last secondness and then the holidays as well, being like, dude, I just went to blah 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 for Thanksgiving. Like, I can't buy a ticket to North Carolina and then turn around and do another place for our other house. I just think that last second that was tough. So it would have been nice if they knew well enough in advance. But I didn't hear of any chatter from my boys on the team that was the case. I think maybe the people that pulled out last second, maybe they knew and they could have told someone early. But y'all know how it is. It stinks when that stuff happens. But hopefully it was a pretty honest mistake and. They were just
curious.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm glad I have a little bit of
knowledge.
Knowledge on that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, if they paid entry, that makes a little bit of sense why they weren't like kind of kicked out right away. And like, yeah, that would be me too. Like literally up until the day before the event, I'd still be like, no, man, I got this. Like, I'm waiting on people. As long as this dude answers me, we're good,
Yeah. So, man, that was stinky just for them because a bunch of good friends.
Players are flakes.
They can be for sure. And there's a funny backstory behind that because my team at one point was rostered with so many people. I was just like, well, maybe I'll play with the Jungle Cats. I know these guys as well. They have a roster spot. Maybe I'll play with them. So I teeter-tottered to them for just a half second during the whole COVID delay. And my original team didn't like it very much. So they're just like, no, man, you can't do that. Like, we'll figure out the playing time. And I wasn't demanding playing time or anything, but they're like, we'll make everything. It's going to be fun. You want, and I was like, yeah, I want to play with you guys. It's the hometown fun friends. So I play with Jungle Cats in Atlanta or Tennessee when there's tournaments out in this direction. So I'm really fortunate that they knock on my door once in a while and consider me a friend. And I love those guys. So honestly, the last note on them is that they're really, really great guys and really good competitors. So it stunk that they kind of have that on their name right now of not showing up, but typically they're awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, it was just a circumstance. Like I said, it would have been.
We hate the Jungle Lizards, Travis. Just kidding. We don't hate them.
But I would have been trying to find somebody up until the last second. If I already had the entry paid for, I wouldn't have said shit until like literally the morning of and being like, sorry, dude.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly right. It is what it is. But hey, you guys took the free game. Now you got the easy goings. Now we're going.
Heck yeah, we did, Travis. Heck yeah, we did, Waldo. We took that free game and we freaking walked right into that hour-long break, and we had an extra 20 minutes, baby. We were really loving life.
Yeah, man. And hey, yeah. So like I said, now we're going to the semis. Looks like they took whatever, like 4 or so teams from each. You guys had to play 3 games to get to the finals. But before we even talk about how those games went, like you just said, you had an hour and a half break. A lot of teams have issues staying hot. Like they'll take that break and they'll come back cold as fuck. That did not happen, obviously, looking at the score. So
and kids, you got to do this when you're old enough. But I want to thank the sponsors, Bud Light, Coors Light. We just stayed hyped by freaking, cracking open a beer here and there and making sure we drank water. On day one, a couple of us left with headaches. We were like, we needed to drink water. So we were just chilling. We we had a couple of tents set up, and it wasn't cold anymore. But when it was, we had space heaters, so we had a sweet setup because of my friend Flip Wilson. He just really shells out and makes it comfortable for us. And I mean, even at the highest level, like professional, semi-pro, D2, whatever, there's not always, people who take care of your team that well. You guys might have a bunch of paint on deck, but if it's freezing cold, you might not have a portable space heater to keep the paint warm if your car's a mile across from the packed parking lot and it's muddy and you don't want to take your paint truck over there. Like people like Flip are freaking awesome. So we're definitely spoiled when we play with him and for him. And I think he's put in the Scrappy Dogs 2 years in a row now. They got second place, I believe, last year against the Saber Wolves, as we all know, those guys. And then we were really hoping to see him. Speaking of not being able to play early on, they decided they weren't going to be able to do this one. So they weren't able to defend their belt. Hopefully we'll see him next year and be able to have like a clash of the ones. But dude, I tell you what, man. Well, let's just go. What'd you say? Sorry, Waldo. What'd you say, brother, man? Travis,
you were the missing ingredient from second to
first. I got it now. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you. Well, maybe, but we were freaking all just killing it, dude. It was so much fun. But man, we stayed hyped by just freaking hanging out together. It's not about the beer drinking. It's just about being aware. We really didn't have a game plan that was too far off. Teams weren't really doing funky stuff per team. It was all pretty much the generic looks. So we grabbed a beer and as much as we could after our game, which was only like another game, maybe, or two, maybe. And then we just walked up to our sweet, like freaking setup that Flip had for us and got comfy and kept our eye on the time. Honestly, started filling pods because we realized like, oh, this break isn't as long as we thought it was going to be. Because paintball always moves fast. But we were ready. So we were working too. We were filling up pods and everything was going to be on the pipes field only. So we weren't going to convenience of time and walking back to our little compound setup area to fill up the next batch of pods. So we got like on purpose like a ton of pods going into this thing. And so we were just like every pod we have, fill it, clean it, like let's take it all. The weather's perfect. It doesn't need to be in the heat, it doesn't need to be in the cold, it just can be in the sun. So let's fill it. So we just had like a couple of like trailer wagons and just walked the paint down there, potted up, and just had enough for everyone to go. And we really just were, and that's also a part that you can lose as a paintball tournament. Luckily, because of us being, although we're goons and a bunch of jabronis these days, we at least know like, yeah, if you don't fill your pods, you don't go on the field with pods and the game's gonna start, so you'll lose. So although we're like, let's get a drink, we're like, and fill pods, all right, all 15 of us, let's crank out these 100 or so pods, but we handled business and we kept our mind on the task, and we also just were chill and having fun, man. I mean, it's easy to just be chill and have fun when you're winning, so we just were playing the cards that were dealt. Essentially,
I was gonna say you guys got a lot of scores in the 90s, so when that's happening, it's easy, bro. Everything is fun.
Yeah, you're not having to talk like, well, what do we need to do? What we had that one on day one where we're like, we don't do that, And so we after that, which I said it was blessing in disguise. I guess we still got the win, which looks cool, I guess. And but really the just the friendly reminder was huge. So we just kept on trucking, man. Honestly, the goal was to make it to the first round robin, because 6 prelims is cool and all, but like you don't want to go home and only play 6 points. You could easily get to 9 points by just making it to this next round. So I want to win the whole thing, but honestly, I just wanted to play a lot of paintball. So I was just like, let's just definitely make it to the round robin, if anything, and then we'll do the same thing again. If we win, we win. Great. If we lose, that sucks, but I'll still be happy, especially because I got to play 3 more games and enjoy this great paintball day. So yeah, man, then we just stepped into this round robin pretty much on a good page and ready to go, dude, for real.
Yeah, and it looks like you had, like I said, the first score is pretty high. Your first game was against Fight Club, Fight Club, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say you will have to remind me, because at that point of the day, we're all kind of, not obnoxious, but you know what I mean. Like I'm just like, all right, let's play.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had to be like the top seed, so you guys had to be juiced. Like, No one's touching me, motherfucker, kind of feeling going in.
I guess so. I guess so, and that's a good assumption. And I don't blame you for feeling that way because that's how most people would feel. And that's probably how the majority of people on my team feel. I'm weird, dude. After I won this tournament too, I think I'd be like super, like maybe even cry hype if I like won a professional tournament or like won a national tournament. Like those are just really, really, really hard to do for some reason. We knew at this event that we had some of the best skill, but all the time in all different sports on paper doesn't win. Because if they did, everyone would make millions of dollars in betting.
Right. That's why they play
So
the games.
exactly. So we just luckily, it's kind of like an unspoken thing. It's like you don't play not to lose. Um, and you just kind of go out there. It's a lot easier, and this is my first win, and it was much easier because I really like I don't do meditation, but I really like has been getting my mind ready for this because from afar I was like, okay, we have the skill, you know, this is home field advantage. There's going to be that feel good there as well. So like we're really poised to win this thing. What do I do as myself who hasn't won a first place much to put my team as best of a position as possible to help and get the first place? And that was just concentrated on what we need to do. So, you know, not getting too ahead of ourselves. It's just like, let's fill pods. Like, let's not even mention like, we're gonna kick all their asses. Let's give each other high fives and smile, but like and crack a beer, but like let's fill a pod and like let's be there on time and like let's just go do what we did all of these last, which is the back players talk, the front players make their moves alive, the back players let the front players know they have nothing to worry about. The clock gets checked every couple of minutes. Hey, dude, there's 2 minutes. We started after that round one where we stalemated that one stalemate we got, although it was a win. We started immediately being way more clock aware, myself in particular. In the last game of the day, I'll explain how a $10 clock for my variable of that point got us the win because I hung the flag in under 10 seconds. I didn't know it was that close. I mean, I knew it was like a minute when I checked last, but I grabbed the flag and I thought I had a couple more seconds left, and I just saw my clock like on my chest, and it was like at 15 seconds. And then I heard one of my teammates yell, "Run!" And I just started like put it in time. But like before that, and all day long, we were just like, we got to be better at time management. So into this next round robin, that was kind of our mentality. So we weren't super coasting to the point where we were like, we were feeling good, but there was definitely things to improve. And I mean, dude, these 10-mans are epic. Everyone wants to freaking win these things. So I mean, the next round is a whole new regeneration of like people's mentalities, thoughts, like who's playing what positions. So yeah, man, we were confident our time. I mean, the whole entire time, but it's me. And again, this is my first win. I can't stress that enough. But it's always been it's got to be a balance of respecting the opponent and then also freaking like not respecting them too much where you don't let yourself be yourself. So we were right there being ourselves, being the hood rats of the paintball field that we are, but being really good, not getting in any confrontations and winning all day. So we were having a blast, man. And we were just like, bring on this round robin, man. Our pods are clipped up. We're good. So
yeah, man. So you guys are ready to rock. Like, so your first game was Fight Club. So how did that go for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. At this point, a couple of guys are like, "Yo, James, you cool?" And like as I get deeper in tournaments, I get a little bit more like less myself. Like people know me like talkative and happy go lucky. At this point, it's more just like uh, I'll still say what's up and like, hey, it's really good to see you, but I'm definitely not going to be like, so how's everything been? Like, you've been doing all right? Like, last time I talked to you, you were selling cars. Like, how's it? Like, it's going to be like, man, it's really good to see you. I got to concentrate though. So, it just kind of geared up because I know everyone else is going to be geared up. And as far as like what I could bring to the team, like hoop and holler and like have everyone be on my page. So I was just kind of on my own, doing my own thing, and like standing with the team, but being a little bit more like super concentrated, like just being like, I'm not giving up this first place. I've had a bunch of second places. Let me make sure I do everything I can possibly do right. So yeah, I was ready for this round 3. I'm sure there was some other people out there ready, but I was very ready. I've been thinking about this tournament for a while.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like that too. I like to get in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Think
Mhm.
about the things I got to do. Like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
you were saying before, like it's right. It's execution. So, like your job might be to shoot 12 pods down the tape. It might be glorious, but the second you stop shooting 12 pods down the tape and look in is when that guy makes that move and bunkers your guy. And so you
And
got to be
even
focused.
And yeah, like, and then even if like you give up the lane, like, so your dude doesn't, like, you're trying to get your dude bunkered, like the second you give up your lane, like your front player is going to be like, dude, like I can hear that gun that stopped. Like, what happened to James? Did he get shot? All of a
Yeah,
sudden now he's got a head check and like look for me, and like that might be at the exact time the trade comes, and then boom, all of a sudden your 50 just got taken. Because I decided to stop doing my job. So everything really is just do the same thing. It doesn't matter if I'm in the snake insert watching him, or if I'm in the Dorito insert, or if I'm the number one. Like, if I'm the number one, dude, and if someone's not watching my offside, I'm literally like turning around like, yo, dude, you gotta freaking watch my offside. 'Cause I might as well like literally be like free freaking steak on a string out here, dude. Because
yeah.
if you're playing a good team, I mean, that's what happens, dude. Would do if someone's slacking and not covering their dude. It's like, okay, well, I might get a trade. I might get a 2-pack. I might get the 1-pack and just take his spot. But I mean, at the minimum, I'm going to get this dude.
Dude,
Um,
free steak
so-
on a string, dude. I love it. I have to work that into my vocabulary.
Man, but yeah, dude, we were really pumped up about this round robin because I just wanted to play more paintball, and we were winning at this point, so I really felt confident. And then just giving respect to these guys, the next batch of opponents, because they were all like pretty much just as good of a record as us, and give or take a little bit, I'm sure, or maybe a little bit better. But I think we were ranked like third overall going into this, or second overall, or something like that.
Yeah, so and like I said, now you're going with the big boys. Like I said, you have Gridlock, you got Ground Zero, and you got Fight Club in this bracket. So walk us through how these games went. They, like I said, I see a lot of green scores, so I know they went well. So, but
Yeah, Fight Club was really good. Got some friends on that one,
yeah,
but we were able to get a pretty solid win on them. And you might have to correct me on a couple of these because at this point there was a lot of action, a lot of close games. So um, I don't think in
don't
this
worry, I
three.
got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I
This
know
was
you do.
94-12. So again, this was a pretty nice one. Same
You know
thing
how
with
much time was left on the clock when it ended?
no. Let's see if I can
And
find
if it
out.
doesn't give you that, that's okay.
No, it doesn't.
No problem. No problem at all. A couple of these went
Yeah,
close, so I'm not
come
going to
on,
be able to tell you.
APPA, give me some stats here. Jesus, APA.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Do more. But Fight Club was good, man. I mean, they have the freaking Fight Club Proflex mask, and I bought one. They play a lot of 10-man. One of my good friends from growing up, Quaz, he plays on that team. Um, he's like a straight paintball gun, freaking wizard. He's pretty well known, I think, in the autococker world by those enthusiasts. So we
Yeah,
just really wanted to beat them. We really wanted to just beat them all.
beat
But
everybody, right?
yeah, they played good. I think we weren't necessarily super worried about it just because we knew we were going to bring the same exact game plan and it had been working so far. And also, again, because obviously we won overall in the games, but a few of these games, especially in the latter rounds of the tournament, we were down like a body or two, not like a bunch or nothing drastic, but we were down bodies multiple times through the tournament as well. But we didn't, like waver the plan at all. We really just,
Stay the course. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, okay, ball 3, cool. Ball 3 killed one, like we're out of it right now. But everyone is when you start trying to do a Leroy Jenkins, man, you're like, we're down 3. It's up to me to win this thing. That's when
Yeah.
you up, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're zipping up your gear bag.
Right.
So we freaking just played nice and smooth, man. Um, Played the team ball that we had been playing the whole time. The main portion of mine was making sure my front guys were calm,
Hmm.
just hearing my gun, hearing my voice, hearing the kill count, hearing the ball count, hearing the time. There was one point where I told I mentioned him in the roster. I just want to make sure I didn't leave him. I told Mark Henley, he was ahead of me playing
Yeah.
the one Dorito side. I said, hey, Mark, we got a minute. And dude, I mean, you can just see it in his brain. He's just like, okay, cool. Like, let's get this win. Boom, starts figuring it out, goes down, crushes it. and we hang the flag with probably like 20 something seconds left. So I mean, this final 3 round was intense. Who else did we play next?
Yeah, so next you played GZ for the first time because they
Because
also
of
make it
you, that
on.
was my first game. Yeah, because of you, that was my favorite game of this round. Also, I got to meet Christian Collins, who I don't know if he
That
plays with
dude
him
is
all the time.
fast, super fast.
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't know him. I know he just recently went professional, so congrats to him again.
Yeah.
I'd sure to give him my congrats in person. It's a very hard thing to do. It's a very rough thing to do too. You know, everyone gives you shit over it. People give you congratulations over it. You get a little bit of everything, but it's definitely hard to do. So I told him from my experience, you know, nothing but hats off to you. I saw them play some games earlier. They were definitely a very good team. I know you fools are freaking playing 10 man like crazy and up paintball like crazy up in your location. So I was like, man, these guys are going to be something. So as soon as you guys got one of those last roster spots, I immediately texted my friend. I was like, yeah, these guys are from New York. Like, I've really only messed with the Master Blasters, but I know this guy named Travis, and I know Ground Zero is just as pretty much historical of a name as Master Blasters. So I said, they're definitely traveling a long way not to suck, dude. These guys are going to be coming to play. I was happy they're in the other bracket in the preliminaries, honestly. Just because I didn't know how warmed up we were going to be if and when we had to play them. But that was my favorite game of that round robin, partially because of you guys, honestly. So that's why I was sure to ask, like, hey, is Travis freaking here? Is Waldo here? And they're like, nah, man. I was like, oh, that's cool. And those are my two guys.
Yeah,
But
Julian's my dude. I love Julian. Shout out Julian.
nice. They were a very good competition.
You know, they're a good team. They play a
Yeah.
lot. Like,
Mhm.
even when they don't play together, like dudes like Julian and some of the other guys on the team are
Yeah.
always out grinding.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to get better, man.
Yeah, they could have easily beat us. They were one of the ones I was worried about. Fight Club, I've seen a little bit more because they're more local to us. We see
Yeah.
more of them. Ground Zero is kind of like, you know, unknown territory. Um, I know Christian's a current pro, so that was nice of their roster to have that on there. To someone who might not know as much, that'd be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of just like, okay, I understand. Um, and especially when he's like the only pro, like I also understand that he's going to be being asked to do a lot. Like, hey, you go far off the break. So it's like, dude, no worries, man. I know that game. Like, we know that game. So
Yeah.
we're just level headed going into that. Me personally, I was just like, I know my freaking boy Travis and Waldo. Like, this one's pretty hype for me. And when we won it, I was like, cool, man, that was good. And they were really cool guys. Apparently, I think a couple fights like sparked before that. So before we played, they brought us all together, and I was like, "Oh man, these New Yorkers can get feisty. I know that these refs are about to like shake hands or something." And you know, we were chill the whole entire tournament, and your boys got into something earlier, but they were calm at this point, and we were like, "Yo, man, like you know, we don't freaking this doesn't bother us at all, whatever." And your boys at that point were like, yeah, man, like no problem at all. No, I was like, that's the coolest I've ever seen New Yorkers be, man. Like, you know, they're getting threatened to get kicked out of the tournament if they keep fooling around like all them and these other teams did in the prior rounds because things were getting feisty, rightfully so, like a 10-man. And that game was really fun. Hats off to them. Really skilled play. Fortunate to finally be able to say I played a Ground Zero team. It's cool being able to play historical teams. I'm not as close with him as you guys are, but Will Arroyo, right?
Will Rocks. Yep.
Yeah.
My
I mean,
dude.
obviously, I just started playing in the point. So, I mean, when I was a kid playing, you know, you see him on like the posters here and there. And all of my older counterparts in trauma clearly know him. And
Yeah.
you know, very well-known guy. I know that throughout the community. If I wasn't a player and so into that tournament at that point of the day, I definitely would have stopped and shook his hand and just say, "Hey, I know a few of your friends, and I grew up here, so I'm sure you know a bunch of the older guys that you know I looked up to." So I just didn't get to have that chance. So what's up, dude? If you watch these things religiously,
Better be
um,
Will. What's up, Will?
yeah, right. Um, but they were very, very, very formidable opponent.
Yeah.
Before we played them, I knew he was playing on the team, and I know Will's very serious about one being a great paintball ambassador, but also winning.
Yeah.
So I knew that they were tearing up through prelims. So I was like excited to play him. I was glad we won. And then who did we play last?
Yeah, I was gonna say that you played Gridlock, which is your best game because
Oh,
I mean, I guess I'll wait for you to tell us how it breaks down, but it was like a 48 score. So you probably only got the pull, but not the hang, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Sossaman almost hung it, and they called time like 2 seconds or
I
two
fucking
strides.
hate that, dude. It's happened
Yeah,
to me
before he
before. It's
got
the
there.
worst feeling.
And Matt freaking, is a trooper, and he was running it in, and he's got kind of like a knee that can hurt once in a while. So he really laid it all out there. I hate that he couldn't quite get it in there, but that was a straight up like bragging rights game. Especially because Gridlock is the older, name team. I played on Gridlock when I was just a noob, but I was lucky enough to get it. Like I think we talked about that in episode 10, that I played
Yeah.
on Gridlock growing up.
Yep.
So I knew almost everybody on that roster. Got to see some guys I hadn't seen in years, like guys that were playing on the D1 Gridlock team when I was like a kid. That like I would message and stuff and be like, "Hey, can you help me buy like an egg too? For $75." And like probably I'm offering probably too much money. I was a straight up noob, but got to see
Yeah.
these guys, and now I'm like an adult. I have a kid, and it was just really wonderful to see these guys. And earlier in the tournament, and I already knew I was like, oh yeah. I might suck, but I'm gonna smoke these dudes. Like, there's no way we're gonna this talented roster is gonna let them lose, especially because Matt Sauceman played on Gridlock. So there's a lot of
Right.
in-house rivalry, and also a lot of in-house camaraderie too. I mean, outside of
Yeah.
games, we're dapping them up, we're hugging them, talking. Those are the types of people like I'm asking them, how's life, how's your job, how's
Right.
your family, how are the kids, like how old are they now? So that was just a really personal one. Gridlock, I mean, was a beast at 10 man in their heyday, and that's what made the Gridlock name. And then they were beast again in NXL or in PSP like divisional.
Right.
So without if I wasn't playing on my team, I'd want to play with the Gridlock name with that squad. But I was clearly happy with my team, and that's who I play more so with these days. So it's just a kind of a cherry on top to be able to run into them at this stage, not just like in prelims where yeah you want to beat them, but maybe they make it, maybe you make it. This was more so just like yeah, dude, like I'm trying to put you guys down, man, and make it out of this round robin. So it was a good match, a good hard one. Again, like I said, we upped our clock awareness, which really was vital for these final round robin rounds. And we were clock aware, and we had them on their heels, eliminated the last ones. Matt Sauceman grabbed the flag and almost hung it, but we already had wins at this point, so it was more than enough to get through. But it would have been all the cooler if we hung the flag too. But if I was a little bit younger, I might have jokingly like talked some poop to him or something like that, or but like I said, my number one goal was to win this tournament and not to ride the alley somewhere else.
Right.
Get on a hype train or whatever, or a nostalgia train or whatever. It was just like, good job. Let's go get ready for the next one. So the next round robin was next, and we did what we needed to do. That was kind of the theme. We were just happy that we did what we needed to do every round, every game. So that was cool, man. Happy to be Gridlock. Honestly, how we were saying, you all, you might not say it, but at times you can. I joke around with my friends. I always be like, "Yo, dudes, I'm scared." But there's times where you'll get in your head a little bit or whatever. But first
Yeah.
time, I played Dynasty like you for like a half second. Oh shit! And then you're like, "Well, fuck, I better run fast." Or excuse my
Yeah.
language, especially if kids are watching. But I told myself in my brain, because I mean it was for like not even a half second, like a millisecond. It was just like, this is hilarious, dude. Like you're playing Gridlock at your home field on the hyperball field. Like the 14-year-old you'd would be like shaking in your boots, like this
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Like what fun, what a fun tournament. But I was just like, nah, I'm not worried about that one bit this time around. And they have really good players too, but you just can't have the wrong mentality at all. So for a split second there was the dang, like Gridlock 10 man, but then it's just like blah, 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 whatever, F that,
Right.
like win this thing. So
Right.
we
Quickly
made it
change to damn. Gridlock's about to lose a 10-man event.
out. Yeah, I know, right? That was fun. Able to help them exit out the door, and a bunch of their guys, play with a few of our guys on the Scrappy Dogs, like a couple Crisis guys. D1 were on Gridlock. A couple Crisis guys that are on the starting roster together on that team were split on these 10-man teams. So that was another like in-house rivalry. So very very fun way to end that round robin, and of course with a win against another storied name. So I mean, we played freaking Ground Zero, which I don't know. Waldo, help me with that. When did Ground Zero start? I mean, before Gridlock, I'm pretty sure.
90.
Like, wasn't it like 90s, 80s, something like that? That's
I
like,
mean,
isn't it almost as old as freaking
95.
95? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it was really an honor to make it out of that round robin against Ground Zero, against Gridlock. It's just like, all right, Scrappy Dogs, who are y'all? Like, for real, that's pretty cool.
yeah. Don't worry, Ground Zero said they weren't done yet because I'm pretty sure they made it on to the next round. Because I
Oh,
guess they took
yeah.
2 from each bracket.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was the final time when we played Ground Zero that got really intense.
It must have been
But
because that score was a lot closer. And
yeah.
whatever the second round, it was a 92-16. But in this round coming up, it was a 43-14.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I
this is the
actually
finals. This is when they get mad. I love a lot of those guys today. Like I said,
actually
Julian and Will and all
didn't
those
get
guys.
shot all tournament, so I was one of those points in that one, even though it was not as big of a spread. But yeah, you can count my points on both games. Ground Zero, what's up?
And like I said, now that you're saying like they were kind of mad when you were playing them, like not surprising because like I said, I love those guys to death, bro. Like, but when the money is on the line, bro, that's when they
Heck
kind of
yeah.
it kind of tightens up a little bit, you know.
And I know that's how you New Yorkers do, especially. That's y'all's bread and butter for real.
Mm-hmm.
So, luckily I have played paintball, and my first experience was with Waldo. I'll never forget being like, I wonder what like playing with New Yorkers is going to be like. Like, I wonder if it's going to be like movies where it's like, living in the South, everyone's like, oh yeah, like we open doors for each other here. Like in New York, everyone's just no doors are open, and like it's just like you get it yourself. And the first thing that happened was Rob Nave. He pulled out like a $20 bill as we like sat down at the restaurant, and he like very politely said to the waitress, he was like, hey ma'am, like this is for you. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, but I would like the fried bologna sandwich and this to drink. And like he was the only one that ordered right then and there. And she took his order. She was like, yes sir, I'll have it right out to you. And then she walks off and she's like, I'll be back for the rest of y'all's order. She was really sweet. She like gave us our menus, and like he slowed her down, gave her the money, and placed his order. And I don't do it but he said, hey, life lesson, man. He's like, you tip them well first, and they're going to give you great service the whole entire time. And I was like, New York is a bunch of class acts, man. They're doing it the right way for sure. So, but I also played with them that tournament, which was one of my many second places, and we did not want second place at all, so that sucked. And yeah,
no, I know Waldo. He never won second place, man.
Heck no, dude, for real. When Waldo played with us on CEP, he was like, man, this is probably the nicest I've ever been player, man. It's just, oh, y'all are being so nice. Like usually I'm like used to like this and that, and like all of us yelling at each other. I can't wait. Waldo, I know you're coming in and out, but can you hear us all right?
Oh man, but I was gonna say because so
When he
Yeah, I
watches
can hear
this,
you.
he'll get a kick at it. Okay, I was just telling Travis how when I first met you guys, you guys were all so nice, and I knew you were gonna be nice, but I was like, I wonder if they're gonna be like hard ass New Yorkers. Like I know sometimes New Yorkers can be, and which y'all were, because Travis was like, like I said, it was unfortunately one of my many second places that I got, like one of the ones that I, am proud of, but I wish it was a first. And I was like, so I know y'all don't like to get first, because he's like, Waldo never likes to get anything but first. And I was like, oh, I know, man, I know. Trust me. When he played with us on CEP, Waldo was like, man, this is probably the nicest I've ever been, like at a paintball tournament, because of y'all freaking guys. Oh man, yeah. So playing against Ground Zero, and excuse my memory, it was, like I said, a cluster, a lot of paintball we played. But yeah, if they made it to the final round, dude, yeah, I know they were hyped to be there. And what was it in the final round? It was Scrappy Dogs, FKA,
and the Misfits. They're another hot team in the
Misfits,
prelims.
yeah, and then y'all's team Ground Zero. So if you want to get into that, we can mosey on that way for sure.
Yo, let's mosey through it, man. Tell us about how you're the big champion, dude, and you're holding the big trophy. Let's get to it.
So, just again, Pipes Field, same game plan, clock awareness. As we tell the story, will become like the factor. And not to say like it was me by any means. I didn't get many kills in the last game. I might have got one. So it's whatever portion you want to call. I think the kills were more important, so that way we could hang the flag. But luckily, that the stopwatch was huge.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening, you should not play a 10-man without a stopwatch. You're like playing like you're like throwing money down the drain and being a noob. Um, it's like the speed feed of like
I've never
back.
had one.
Waldo, you're freaking crazy, dude. Gosh, man. Mental
It's
clock
always
game
go
strong.
time. It's always go time, dude. Dude, it's always go
Yeah,
time. Let me tell you, dude. It's always go time.
that's the truth, though. And when me and you played
Mind the
together, dude, we were freaking
clock is
bumping,
strong.
slamming some fools, dude. Like it was tight. I liked that style for sure. But hey, I got first place with this out of my stopwatch strong, baby. I'm just saying, you know. but
Stopwatch strong.
But after that first, we got the stalemate because I saw my stopwatch at 4 minutes, but I didn't check in at all after that. And then all of a sudden, it's wee 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 wee, and it's game over. It's like, well, I'm not gonna help my team lose again.
Yeah.
So we freaking
Dude, what I do
went,
is I set my watch for a minute early. So if it's like a 10-minute game, I set my watch for 9
yeah.
minutes. So my watch is going off. I'm like, all right, now it's really time to fucking make it happen. Like, get up and run, fat ass.
And we just got the cheap like $9 like stopwatches on Lanards from McDonald's from Walmart, and yeah, McDonald's has the hookup, but
The Happy Meal prize.
you'd
Toy
be
son.
running and the button would bounce on your chest sometimes, and it would stop the clock. So like
Yeah.
sometimes you'd go to check the clock, and you're like, "Well, boys, we're straight freestyling now." Last this thing knew we had 3 minutes left, but luckily in the finals it was very important key, and we just rolled into that one. And let me see if I can do it without you helping me. First game was against FKA.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is where my memory becomes sharp again because this is win or go home time.
Yeah, exactly. And you waxed the shit out of them 97-6. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so
one of
we
your
just
best games, period, really.
and I think we won that one with decent time left. If I'm lying, FK, I'm sorry, but I think we won that one with decent time. So we were just, all right, let's get some pods because you're in the hole as soon as you're off the field or on deck, whatever, because of the
Right.
rotation. So boom, 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 getting pods. Everyone's, same exact mentality, happy go lucky. Is there beer left? So we're just chilling, having a good time. And then the next one was
Right.
definitely going
As
to
long as
be,
you're winning, you're still drinking, right? So keep it going.
yeah, at certain points, some people have to hold back, like including myself, because I'm a lightweight. But we did it just right. We're having fun, and guys
Right.
who might drink a little bit more were definitely, being comfortable, and it was really fun. And then let's see. So the next game was against Ground Zero. Yeah, and you
Right.
said earlier that was much closer.
Much closer. Yeah, I think it was 48 to 43 to 14. So like I said, close to get 40. You guys probably at least had to get the pull. So
Mhm.
again, it was probably another close game that came down to time.
Yeah, and that might have been the one where we almost hung it. I'm not sure. So sorry about mixing that up a little bit, but it
Yeah.
was epic. Like everyone said it was a really awesome finals round robin. Like the paintball was really, really good. Like it could have been like on an old school DVD. So I was really like honored to hear that too. I mean, I
Yeah.
think everybody in the final should be honored to hear that. Like to be able to put on a show where everyone watched the finals and not like left in the car. There was a strong amount of people there. And typically at especially national events, dude, it's like sun coming down and the team that won and like the team that got second and third are clapping them, and that's it. So
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool. But we did beat Ground Zero. I remember
Yeah.
giving Christian a high five after getting to meet him at the tournament. He's like, good
Mhm.
job. The whole team was really, stand up guys. No problems at all for any of our interactions with teams. So nothing but respect for those guys. And the freaking finals were stacked, dude. So I guess the way it broke down was, lo and behold, the actual game of the round robin was actually like winner take all.
Yeah.
And someone accidentally at one point probably just didn't know what was what, but on my team someone said, and my ears heard it, um, they said all we need is a flag hang, and where my brain was at was like, okay, like all we need is a flag hang, but that wasn't the truth. Like we needed the flag pull, or we needed. They said all we need is a flag pull. Excuse me. So I was under the impression it was like cool. Like as long as we get our hands on this flag, like I don't care if I break my arm, dive into it, but we're gonna touch it. We're gonna get this win, and then so I'm going into this game with improper knowledge. Okay, now we
Never good.
yeah, never good, never good. Um, especially in my head, I was like, if I have to live or die by that, I'm going to live or die by that. Like I'm going to be watching this clock, and if there's 20 seconds left, I'm going to make my push and get my hand on the flag. Luckily, the game broke out. Very tight game, similar game plan on us. We weren't doing anything crazy. Like the furthest we were going is like the snake insert, and then like the Dorito like second or third bunker up the wire. So
Right.
you had the outside dominant. So we weren't doing anything crazy, and then we were like sending the center 50. Now this is against the Misfits, and literally, you guys, I think I'm going to tell you the move of the tournament. So I'm glad I can drop this on like some on-site knowledge. My boy Ryan Callahan, the guy I was telling, me and him joke around about being, mud dogs or like dogs or types of anything. Well, anyways, Wild Dog freaking goes into the middle of the 50 because that's what we've been doing the past few points. And how epic is this? So it's Ryan Callahan. Hopefully, you're catching the slight vibe of how epic Callahan is. So it's Ryan Callahan versus Rocky Cagnoni because Misfits have been second Rocky up to the 50 the whole point. So, so this point in particular, I know Ryan pretty good. Like I told him that last tantrum game, like, hey, the young pup. Big dogs just want you to know what's on the line here. Okay, I get it. This time, I'm like, I'm not telling him who he's playing. He wouldn't care either way, but there's no point in me telling him. Like, I'm just going to let Callahan go be Callahan. Well, this dude ends up freaking crushing it. So he goes up to like the center, like 50 diamond or whatever, and he's like in the Misfits, but on our side of the 50, but he's like in their portion of the 50. And like, one of my teammates that was watching, because I wasn't watching over him at this point, someone else was. They say he pops the top, sees like 3 or 4 people like really quickly. Luckily, has the presence of mind to be like, dude, they're gonna come bunker me. One of these dudes who just I played whack-a-mole with really quickly is gonna come get me. So, dude, he with his barrel pointing at the one guy that's closest to him on like popping the top, he like crawls backwards like 15 feet to another part of this diamond. And dude, I feel bad for him, man. Like he straight got embarrassed. A dude from the Misfits comes to bunker Callahan. No one's Callahan just rips this dude, man. Like straight up and move. Like he in a half second could see their eyeballs and know, oh, one of y'all 4 are coming to get me, and backed up and then shot the dude, rat tat tatted him. And I mean, dude, straight like it's a game changer type move, although we had one would say like a fair shot at having control. But I mean, the fact that we didn't lose Callahan, we just shot Rocky out of his port of the 50 right before that happened. So then I guess Misfits were just like, oh, dude, our stud just got taken out and they have a guy there. So what's a healthy paintball brain tell you? Let's go bunker that guy out and at least like kind of even the playing field a little bit. Well, they ran into a freaking booby trap, dude, like straight up. So hats off to freaking Callahan, dude.
That's what's up, dude.
Yeah, so move of the finals is right then and there. And then, dude, we just were clock aware because they were freaking. They knew better than I did. They knew I needed to flag hang it, not just flag grab it. So
Right.
they didn't have to grab the flag. They didn't have to hang it. They just had to keep us from doing what we needed to fully close the game. I didn't know that. Apparently, I'm like halfway there, but time's going down. I check my stopwatch. 5 minutes, boys. Time's going down. Time's going down. We're getting a little bit more eliminations. It's not like we have a ton more extra bodies than them. It's a very good fought out finals. All right, dudes. 2 minutes left. I just checked my clock again. Like, all right, guys. Like, we're good. We got this. Trying not to rush. And then it's just like, yo, dudes. Like, we got a minute. And freaking, we snag out the last couple of people. I think Mike Paxson was one of the last few bodies, as you would expect. He knows how to live.
Himself.
Yeah. And I mean, he's clock aware, I'm sure himself too. He's game aware more than I am because he's Paxson. So he's probably like, James needs to hang this thing. And I know that. So I'm just going to freaking tuck in and guard my flag, like be a tick.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
eventually got him out, and I looked at my clock at the 1 minute mark, and as I grabbed the flag, like my clock swung and I saw it like say 15 on it, and I was just like, oh. So I grabbed it, and dude, I just started booking it, and like right as that time, I don't know who said it, but someone yelled run, like, and I was just like, oh, dude, like,
Fuck.
like maybe my stopwatch is off a few seconds, maybe the ref started theirs a second early, you never know, and
Right.
so I'm just booking it. So again, I didn't like have a 4-pack or a 5-pack or anything, but my clock awareness was mother effing on point. And I grabbed the flag, and at this point, I'm kind of thinking like, we won this thing. I'm gonna do this like victory lap jog in, and then I like see my clock, and that kind of put a little pep in my step. So I started moving faster, and then one of my teammates yells, "Run!" And I'm just like, "Oh my god!" So I'm just like, "Oh, like maybe I don't just need to touch the flag." Because the boys didn't start cheering when I touched the flag, so it's like kind of all processing, and
Yeah.
then boom, hung the flag, and everyone cheered, and it was just really fun. Like to be able to say, beating Rocky Cagnoni, beating the Misfits. They have a bunch of, really good names, guys that freaking paved the path for kids like me growing up. It was just such a fun win at my home field with my home friends, with the guys I competed with growing up, getting to see friends. It was just really a wonderful first win that I definitely will never, ever, ever forget, for sure.
Yeah,
It
dude.
culminated to be awesome all around.
Yeah, dude. That kind of actually go into what something I was going to say. So, dude, you're champion. You win the event. You're holding the trophy. What's that feeling like?
You know, I don't know if it's because I'm not playing paintball as much anymore, but it was satisfying. That's the truth. I guess
Mhm.
what I would expect myself to be like is, I got down, I cried, and I didn't do that, but it was really, really, really satisfying.
Yeah. Almost more like a relief because you're like almost feel like you were supposed to win, kind of.
Not really, but that good question again, because that's
Mm.
where you typically think, and that's
Mm.
why I would think I would probably cry, is because like, um, it's like we did what we needed to do. I haven't won a first place yet. But really, it was weird. It was almost like you said, getting the monkey off your back. It was kind of just like, oh, like I've always and mm, I've always known that I haven't won first place, but I've had a very good assumption idea, been close enough to it, got in third place, second place. Like, no, I was just a camel, like a straw away from, breaking the back.
Right.
But, it was almost like just this realization of like, dude, like you did a good job being mentally aware, not to be too hype, not to be to like let's get in fist fights with these guys, not to be like too like we're killing everybody, like f doing the pods, like let's only drink. It was just a very good realization of just being like, dude, good job, like
Yeah.
you thought about this one long enough, you analyzed the times you've given up on accident, maybe you weren't in the position to like be one of the quote unquote leaders because you have the professional tag on your name years ago, like me and these
Right.
guys are all friends, and we to each other, so every part's a variable. So it was just more nostalgic looking back.
Mhm.
I have 30 paintballs left in my hopper, and after everyone was safely, off to the side, and they were taking pictures with like one person at a time with the trophy, and I already took my picture. I took a second to slow down and really enjoy it, because
Yeah.
it was hard work. So I just kind of this was probably the most like close I got to like maybe shedding a tear. I just, sun coming down, you're at your own local field. Um, you've been playing paintball forever. That's why your life is the way it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't as heart pulling on like, oh my gosh, paintball, is the reason for everything, because there's a lot of variables in it. But it was just very, very rewarding. And then at the end, I just was like, I'm just gonna go shoot these 30 paintballs and be a kid again, shooting the last bit of your bag out at the field at the end of the day, and no one's out there anymore, and the sound of the air compressors are in the background, and I just really soaked it all in and just enjoyed it, and thought about friends that I played with, memories, and again, I mean, it would. I have to. I immediately asked myself. I said, "So is this my favorite tournament just because I got the win?" I think my favorite, Waldo. That second place was really close at that Woods tournament. That was a really fun one, dude. I loved that one. But I think my favorite tournament was my first professional one where we got third in champions, because that one made me cry, because it was just like
Yeah.
it was like a sense of belonging almost. It was just like, hey, I'm actually not half bad. Like, maybe I was on this pro roster for a reason. Like, we just got third against like some really talented other professional teams. Yes, they're in the challengers, but we did it. But this one was really, really rewarding, because there's nothing like first place. And then again, my brain kind of clicked over to the fact of like, you know, maybe that's why you didn't get first when you were with CP and you got third instead, is because you guys didn't stick to the game plan. James, maybe you weren't wise enough to like put that in everybody's ear, or hold your part of the ship up, or do your part of the chores, or bring that portion of it. And it woulda, coulda, shoulda type of thing. But the realization of like, cool, like I was very mentally aware of what I wanted to do and saw it happen and how it was going to develop. So if you're listening to this and you've never won a paintball tournament or got in a first place before, that's really no big deal at all. It's really nice to be able to do, and it is like super awesome to brag about. It is a skill set that you kind of learn when you do, you're part of a team. You might get carried there. You might do the majority of the load. You might accidentally run into the flag with 10 seconds left because you had a clock on that your buddy bought you. But the main important part is just freaking have fun, man, and just go play paintball and make friends. And it's okay to, I guess. Oh, I don't know. I don't like the fighting, but it's okay to get emotional and everything like that. But man, I just had a freaking blast of this tournament. I definitely like 10-man more than I like professional speedball, just because I enjoy the a little bit more loose structure of leading up to it, and I also enjoy it not banging my wallet as hard. Um, so that's a lot cooler financially. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this win, man. And I was just all sorts of happy, and to see everybody else happy on the team was really, really cool. And then just play with my friends, man. I mean, win or lose, I would have left this tournament being like, man, that freaking tournament was awesome, man. I got to see my boys. We got to play. Like, the weather was halfway all right. The fields are sick. So if you're interested in playing it, especially you, Waldo, you got it. This thing is shaping up to be like a pretty cool tournament once a year. And I think it's going to be just as better even next year. I think there's rumors that they're talking about, because they have the fields that are sick to do it. I mean, they can rotate. They can have more players. They just need to have a second ref crew dedicated. So maybe next year we'll see more teams and selling out again in a half hour. So that'd be really cool. If
Overshot Factory coming in hot next season, maybe.
yeah,
Let's see.
seriously, yeah, and
Dude, I mean,
yeah, dude, that'd be epic,
I wanted to
dude.
go.
That'd
We'll
be
talk
epic.
about it. We'll talk
Y'all
about
could
it.
do like a mini 10-minute show from there or something, like just like have a slew of like people
Oh, we
coming in to
could.
talk to you. Yeah, you could easily do something. That'd be really cool too.
No, we could. We easily. We got the setup for that too. That's
Yeah,
that. If we're going there, we're definitely doing that. But
yeah,
Let's just
be
say we're
awesome.
going. Let's say we're going. Let's put it on the. We're going, dude. We're going.
we
This
got
is
to
what
see if
we're
we can
gonna
get
Yeah,
the
do. We're just
kids
gonna
to leave the
say it,
state.
so then we
We
have
got
to
to see.
do
If
it. We're going.
we got to get the kids to be able to leave state.
but just tell
Dude, we
them.
got more friends than that.
Yeah, you,
We
you
got
can
more
fill
friends than that.
it in. But yeah, man, it was really cool. And then Paintball Central, I don't know who they got them from, or the C.F.O.A. They had everyone. It wasn't what they pulled off of your sleeve to get you out. Like, they just used regular tape for that, and you
Yeah.
pull it off when you're out. But everyone got an armband that was black, and then in white text it said TM40 for Tim Montressor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. A lot of the old school guys, played beside him or grew up with him more so than I did. He was just in the posters that I ripped up and put on my wall as a kid. So rest in peace to Tim.
Yeah. We got them too. I have a
Yeah,
TM40 armband. I think Steve has it for me. I got to
yeah,
grab it
I'll
from him.
stay rocking that thing, dude. So I love seeing this 10-man just wave of awesomeness, dude. And it's just like a little bit more camaraderie, man. You don't slow down at national speedball events and talk to people. You just don't.
No.
You might have your buddy or two from across the nation that you say, "What's up, man?" And like you guys talk for 2 minutes, or maybe you chill and have a beer together for 10. But there's just a little bit more of that, or a handful of more of that at these 10-man events, dude. And that's just right up my alley, man.
Dude,
So
100%.
freaking epic tournament. I appreciate you guys freaking asking me all about it. I wish I would have gotten to see you guys there, and I do hope you guys are there next year, and hopefully they can run more teams, and there's more bragging rights on hand, and more of a national presence, and it's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to see what happens next year, and definitely looking forward to seeing you guys at some sort of paintball tournaments, regardless whether it's that one or something else soon.
No, dude, for sure. ICC to another big one. Hopefully, we definitely get to see you at. But
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
before we sign off, Waldo, you got any more questions for him? I know we covered a lot.
I feel bad I didn't get him a win at that C tournament. I didn't know he never won a tournament. But I mean, we'll definitely. I felt really bad then. Now I feel even worse. Like, catching up with him for sure, man. I'm sorry I had internet issues.
Put him in the grave.
I think it was a great episode.
No, dude, fantastic episode. And I want to thank James for being so generous with his time and walking us through the games and everything like that. I want to, again, just real quick and encourage for the YouTube subscribers. Again, at 500 subscribers, we will be giving this thing away to a lucky subscriber. We'll be doing a little spins and wins thing. So again, if you listen to this normally as a podcast, I highly suggest you go check us out on YouTube. But again, James, thank you for being so generous with your time and walking us through everything. And we will catch everybody on the next episode.